Hello and welcome to the Winchester Archive, the Supernatural podcast. I'm Ed,
And I'm Brooke.
and today we'll be discussing Season 1, Episode 29, Salvation.
29?
21. I don't know where I got 29. I genuinely don't know. 21, Salvation.
I was
Oh,
like,
no.
wow.
We jumped a whole bunch of episodes real fast. But before we get into the episode 21 of Season 1, here's a quick spoiler warning. As always, we're connecting dots across the entire series. If you haven't watched Supernatural for the first time or haven't finished the series, consider this your heads up. Also, an explicit content warning. As always, we are adults talking about an adult show that deals with dark and sensitive topics. Expect adult language, mature discussion, and dark humor. And before we keep going, you can find us on Upscrolled at Winchester Archives Pod, as well as YouTube and Patreon at Winchester Archive Podcast. Share, like, comment, subscribe, all the fun stuff to help keep us growing our community of archivists, and we really appreciate the support.
Now, before we get into it here, I just wanted to add in that you might notice our music changed, and that is because I made an oopsie. I I thought I grabbed a song that was copyright free, but it was actually royalty free with a license. And the license is very expensive for like the 10-second clip you all hear in the intro and outro. So I'm not buying it. So music has been changed. So let's get into our episode specs and synopsis. The air date is April 27th, 2006. Written by Sarah Gamble and Rael Tucker. Directed by Robert Singer. Supporting cast is Jeffrey Dean Morgan as John Winchester, Nikki Acox as Meg, and Aaron Harpluck as Monica Holt. While they're on the hunt for the demon who killed Mary, Sam has a vision of the demon attacking another family. So they head to Iowa to put an end to this once and for all with the cult. However, Meg throws a wrench in this plan by killing people who are important to John so he will give the cult to her. He decides to meet up with her to deliver a fake gun, while Sam and Dean are left to handle the demon on their own.
Indeed. And just before we get into the small details, I just wanted to throw it out there to everyone as you're listening. If you're expecting a big, deep lore episode like last week, sucks. This episode, nothing
Yeah.
happens. Nothing new happens anyway. It's all like the same lore that we've already hashed out on many other episodes so far this series. So this episode's very light for fun things for me to talk about. But that's okay because last week was like 2 hours long of me just talking about vampires. So,
Yeah. And
but
and overall, this week is going to be a short episode probably anyway, because it's a setup for the finale, which is the next
yeah,
episode.
this is the
So,
right before like we said in the intro. This is the episode 21. There's 22 episodes, so like this is
mhm,
definitely a setup, the ending, so we can like cliffhang it into the next series if they let it continue. This kind of thing.
yes.
So this episode is really a nothing burger, and then it just sets up the big bad. Finally,
'Cause
we get like a face to the face.
nowadays,
I was gonna say face to the name, but we don't even get a name for a while.
true. But think of like TV nowadays, like how the Stranger Things finale, which has just happened, was so long it could be played in movie theaters. It was over 2 hours long. And like back in this time, they had a 45-minute time slot on the TV channel.
It's
So
like
they
a
cl-
hard cap, and like if most, it was like an hour.
yeah, well, it was an hour with commercials.
Yeah, I'm saying
So
like at most is like an hour and a half of like if they really want to do a crazy thing, like they did a
mm,
special. But like I don't think
yeah.
Supernatural really did those.
It was, like, from what I remember, it was always the to be continued type
Yeah.
stuff. So, like, nowadays, we don't really have this breakup because it's all, like, streaming, it's not on cable. That's
Uh,
why this is like this, and this episode is kind of boring because of that.
yeah,
So let's look at our episode overview. So this episode has, like, the strangest recap I've ever seen,
I
ever.
agree. I thought it was very odd.
It was very long and it went over everything, but the voiceovers weren't with the clips that they happened in. So I thought
Mhm.
that was weird. But it's definitely for people who decided that they weren't going to watch it at all until the very end of the season.
which is weird that people even did that.
Y Yeah, it's like they turned it on, they were like, "What's this show?" And the recap was like, "Here's everything you missed in the last 20 episodes that was important."
To be fair, not a ton has happened.
No.
Like, that's, like, the problem with, like, well, the problem, quote, unquote, I guess, with this, with the new it's brand new, right? So
Mhm.
it's they're trying to figure out what the hell they're doing still. They don't really have an overarching story other than, "Oh, there's this big bad demon that, like, fucked them up and fucked them up again when they got older, and now are
Yeah.
fucking up random other kids." And it's like, "Alright, what's happening?" But, like, the rest of the season is kind of, like, disjointed because it's all like, "Oh, a reaper here, a random monster here, a vampire here." It's like
Mhm.
a ghost everywhere else, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just a lot of, like, monster of the week episodes, so it's not really there's no really story there. The only thing you missed was, like, the boys starting to, like, love each other more,
Mhm. Very true.
Like
Yeah, for sure. And when you watched this on television, this is the first time you hear Carry On Wayward Son played, not on any streaming services, though, but
sad.
it was played here.
Mhm.
So, after the recap, we start off the episode in Blue Earth, Minnesota, inside a church. We see a pastor doing pastor things, and Meg walks in. So, demons could just enter churches, apparently.
Yeah, which is, like we talked about a little about it back when we had, like, the ghost serial killer that was, like,
Mm.
like, the what's it called? Folk
Oh, the
tale,
truck
like, the
one?
no, not the truck one, the one that the other ghost. No, the other angry ghost. The one that was in the church that was, like, they had to melt down all the gold and then, like, burn him again.
Oh, that was,
That one.
the
The
Hook
Hook Man.
Man.
Yeah, I was like a folklore, but we're not with the folklore, it's, what is the word? It's not folklore, but it's, like, the modern equivalent of folklore.
Myth? No, that's older.
Yeah, it's like a tall tale, like, like
Yeah.
the what's the word?
I don't know. Those are all the words.
No, there's another one. It's like it's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, regardless, we kind of figured out that ghosts can kind of do whatever the hell they want and go into like churches, and it's not a big deal. But in like lore, that's like the one bit of lore there kind of is that demons aren't allowed to go into holy places. But we kind of went over that with like the truck episode is a good point too of like the sacred ground being like able to get rid of him because he was so evil. But like here, it looks like that's not really a thing anymore because demons can just go into churches.
Yep. Exactly.
So they kind of scrapped that idea with just that one episode.
Yeah. Even the pastor says she's not allowed in there because it's hallowed grounds, and she says that's for the minor leagues. So I think that is implying that, uh, demons higher up in ranks are allowed in.
Yeah, it's definitely in Christian mythology. There is definitely hierarchies to both angels and demons, and the
Mhm.
higher up in the hierarchy, the stronger the creature. So the stronger the being, so they can probably get away with a little bit more. Probably more like like kind of like the vampires in the sunlight thing. It's probably like a bad sunburn. Like probably doesn't feel great to be there, but
Mhm.
it doesn't like hurt them or like stop them, since
Yeah,
she's like apparently a bigger demon.
makes sense. So, the pastor here, he throws a knife at Meg, but she catches it by the blade, by the way,
So cool.
and he asks what she wants, and oh, I didn't even mention before, we actually get confirmation she's a demon here because she turns her eyes black.
Yeah.
So that we finally figure out that she's truly a demon, she's not working with one.
Yeah, we kinda figured that out, though, I feel like when she fell from a seven-story building and lived, but
Yeah,
something's up with her at least. Maybe not demon, but,
true.
like, something.
Or
But
she's
now
at
we know.
least, possessed by a demon.
Yeah.
And she says she wants the Winchesters, and he says that he hasn't spoken to them in over a year, and she's just like, "Yeah, I know," and she kills him. So, like, that was always the plan because she knew they would come if they heard he died, most
Mhm.
likely. So now we are in Manning, Colorado, where we were last episode. The camera is showing us, a ton of research the whole Winchester family's kind of been, like, up to, or it was John's research, and he, like, brought them up to speed,
Finally, about damn time.
right?
Just took, 5 episodes and a bunch of, like, coercion and, like, guilt tripping. and yelling.
Yes, so much of it.
Really had to twist his fucking arm to make sure they knew what they were going up against.
Yes,
I will forever be on this hill.
it's a good hill to be on, I think.
Fucking John.
So John tells them the demon is targeting families with 6-month-old infants. So Sam, being the main character, he is just immediately yelling about how his mom and Jess died because of him.
Mhm.
And Dean is like, "It's not your fault." And Sam is like, "It is my problem." So he
Mhm.
like kind of needs to tone down the main character energy. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
It's not his fault.
I understand where his head is at though.
I know because you have main character energy. You would be saying the same thing, like, "They died because of me." And it's like, well, they died because the demon did that to you.
Mhm.
So, and like Sam and Jess didn't have a 6-month-old infant, and he just killed Jess for funsies.
That one felt personal, like,
Yes. Yeah, that was personal.
yeah, that one was just like a "fuck you."
Mhm. Yeah.
Uh,
So John tells them he's always one step behind, so he's never been able to save anyone despite knowing what's coming. Like he
mhm.
says the surrounding areas will have like cattle death, temperature fluctuations, electrical storms, all of that before it happens. So now the signs are pointing that all of this is happening in Salvation, Iowa. So we're headed there.
Mhm.
When they enter Salvation, their city sign says, "Are you ready for Judgment Day? JW 227." And this
Mhm.
isn't real. It's not a real quote
Yeah.
anywhere. So I'm saying it's probably for John, like a
Yeah.
question for John.
I think so too, because JW is literally John Winchester.
Yeah, a lot of people online said it's either for John, like John Winchester, or it's like Jehovah's Witness, but there isn't like,
I don't think there's a Jehovah Witness, like, book like that that's, like, written out
yes,
like that.
that's what I was seeing online. Like they were like, it could be Jehovah's Witness, but there still is not like a quote that says that.
Yeah.
So I like thinking that it's for John, like just it's a little supernatural, like demon twist on the sign that he didn't
Mhm.
catch.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if I was driving into a town, like at least I read all the signs. So if I saw something like that, I feel like I would think it's really targeted.
Mhm.
Like if
Yeah.
it said like BH227, I'd be like, what? Hmm,
Yeah, like, what does that mean? Also, just on the topic of, like, cattle deaths, temperature fluctuation, electrical storms, all those kind of things, they're not really, like, signs of demons normally, like, in folklore, but they are, like, weird things that people associate usually with, like, with weird things happening, right? Like,
mhm,
omen, like, almost like an omen that's happening, and, like, the cattle mutilations is obviously a very common, like, UFO and, like, chupacabra kind of vibe to it, right? Where it's like, there's still,
mhm.
like it's a weird thing that happens in the area that, like, seems to, like, indicate bad things happening.
Yeah, and like temperature fluctuations or like ghosts are around.
Yeah.
So now we find out that pastor is Pastor Jim, the one that helped John out with the boys all the
Mhm.
time. They found traces of sulfur in the church, which means they know a demon was there.
Mhm.
And John is now in more of a survival mode than he was previously.
Mhm.
He's saying this is going to end right now, no matter the cost. Like he truly does not care anymore.
Oh, yeah. He's like, "Alright, we're done. We're done. We're ending this now."
John is now at a hospital and he pulls out his fake doctor badge out of his car.
Like father, like son.
Yeah. Sam is at a record place copying down birth certificates. Dean is out pretending to be a cop. Sam is now getting visions of the next target.
Mhm.
In his vision, he heard a train, so he took out the town map to follow the train tracks. And when you look at the map, the track is like through the whole town, but he knows which way to go exactly and finds
Mhm.
the house. But when he sees the house, he's like, "Oh yeah, this is the one in my vision because of like the windows."
Yeah, the curtains are very unique.
Mhm. He sees the mom and the baby out for a walk, and he just runs over to them and starts talking to them, which is like super crazy.
The running over to her part is the crazy part. They're, like, talking to her like, "Hey, I'm a new neighbor. Nice to meet you." Is, like, less weird, but it's still kinda weird, and the way he, like, acts is very odd.
Yes. And, like, as a woman, if some man ran up to me, I would immediately just start walking away, and then as a woman with a baby, no.
You
Especially
pull
when
out
he's
the pepper spray immediately.
and he's especially when he's like, "Oh, is this your baby? She's so cute." It's like,
And it's
"Okay,
like,
don't look at my baby."
yeah, exactly. Like, "Who are you?"
Yes, exactly, but no, Monica. Her name is Monica. She's really nice. She's like, "My name's Monica. This is where I live. We bought this house. Glad to meet you.
Yeah.
This is my baby. Her name is Rosie." It is just like, "Okay, Monica, just give this random man all of this information. That's fine.
Yeah. As you do.
God wrote this story, okay?"
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, everything that can be, like, looked at as, like, a weird thing can just be like, "Yeah, it's a shitty writing." It's like weird writing from God.
Mhm.
Chuck was an alright writer.
So, Sam 'cause he asked, like, "How old is Rosie?" And she says, "6 months today."
Mhm.
And he wants to say something, but decides not to, so he walks away and has another vision.
She also mentions that Rosie kinda doesn't cry and, like, stares into the void like she's reading people's minds, like she
Oh,
has, like, some
yeah.
kind of a psychic ability, like Sam
Yes.
and the other kid that I can't remember his name that, was also psychic from a couple episodes ago.
Oh, the telepathic guy. Not
Yeah.
telekinesis guy, I meant.
Yeah. Telekinetic, yeah.
Yeah. But this vision Sam had is so eerie because all of the noise stops in the room and the wind is blowing. And then Monica walks in to confront the demon, just like Mary did. She's like, "Oh, what are
Mhm.
you doing here?" And it's like, okay, Mary did the same thing.
Mhm.
And then the demon kills her on the ceiling via a fire. So now he's back at the motel telling Dean and John about what he saw.
Mhm.
And instead of trying to figure out what is about to happen or what they should do, John gets mad that Dean didn't tell him Sam has visions. Like he tells Dean that when something like this starts to happen to his brother, he picks up the phone and calls.
Mhm.
Dean is instantly mad, rightfully so, and
Correct.
says he called when they were in Lawrence, and he said Sam called when he was dying, but in Dean's words, they have a better chance of winning the lottery than getting John on the phone.
Mhm.
And John is like, "Yeah, you're right, but I don't like this new tone of yours."
Yeah, I hate John. John's just the worst. How is your first thing like, "You should have called me and told me." It's like, "Bitch, they've been calling you for 2 years." Like, not really 2 years, but they've been calling you for the entirety of this show trying to get you to come with them.
Mhm.
Like,
And
what do you mean? And then, like, the whole, you gotta throw in there, "Oh, I don't like this new attitude." Like, fuck yourself, bro.
And, like, Sam, even though he said he's had the visions, like, before Jess's death, why would he ever call his dad when his dad said, "Don't come back"?
Yeah,
And then, like, him and Dean were just kinda left to figure things out on their own, and
I
they
just hate
had
John.
been calling.
John sucks. He's just the worst. He's my least favorite character of the entire show.
The whole show?
As of right now, we'll see if that changes later because there are some characters that I don't like as well later, but John's
True.
the worst. Like, I
He
think
is.
he is just the worst of all of them.
He's a very flawed person.
He is. Like, no, he's a very flawed person, and I think the actor does a very good job with it, of,
Mhm,
like, he feels real. Like, that's why, again, I give the show immense amount of praise for just, like, how real it feels because
mhm.
it really just feels like they're actual people.
Yeah.
And, like, flawed people like that exist for sure. But it's just one
Mhm.
of those things where, like, watching it as a show and, like, analyzing it, I'm just like, "I hate you. You're so annoying. You make no sense and you're annoying."
Yes, exactly. So, at this point, Sam gets a phone call and he answers, and it's Meg. And Sam says, "Last time I saw you, you fell out of a window." And Meg says, "Thanks to you." Yeah, thanks to you. That really hurt my feelings, by the way.
And then Sam just replies with, like, "Just your feelings?"
Mhm.
That's amazing.
It
Uh,
is.
I love Meg. Meg is awesome because of, like, how, and this is why I like a lot of the demons in the show. They're very snarky and,
Mhm.
like, in, like, the best kind of condescending way.
Yes, I know. I do really like Nikki Acox, but I do also like the new actor they get for Meg later whenever Nikki leaves. I don't remember when that is,
Yeah.
but both of them do a really good job.
Oh, for sure. And I think it's fun that they can like, that's one thing you can do with, like, the angels and demons is you can recast them like that as
Yeah,
them,
because they
like, in
possess
another
someone
body.
new.
Yeah.
Yeah, when the vessel dies or can't handle it anymore, like, well, we'll just get another one and it's the same
Mhm.
demon. So she really wants to talk to John, and Sam is like, I don't know where he is. And Meg is
Mhm.
like, okay, stop. Just give him the phone. So Sam gives him the phone. And then Meg tells John that she killed Jim. And now she's in Lincoln, Nebraska. And she has Caleb, which is John's
Mhm.
other friend. She says they know he has the colt, to which John says he doesn't. So Meg just kills Caleb.
Like,
And
straight up.
yes. And she says he has declared war by getting the colt, and she's going to go after every single person who has ever helped him in any way unless she gives him the gun. So John says he's going to bring her the colt. The place where Meg wants to meet up, John says it's about a day and a half away, and he can't carry a gun on a plane. And Meg says, oh, well, meet at midnight or more people are dying. Although I really want to talk about this plane situation. Because do you remember the episode where the brothers went on the plane to
Yes.
exorcise a demon?
Yes.
We talked about this in length that episode. How they had their weapons and they had water and they were able to just get on a plane same day and like,
It's
oh,
crazy what the rules used to be.
the rules of the writing have changed. They're like,
Mhm.
well, now it's not convenient for John to get on a plane.
Either that or it was just, like, him trying to stall, which I think is
Yeah.
also valid because, like, it's very clear that he's trying to delay it, right?
Yeah. And I looked up uh, kinda how far it would be ish because they are in Salvation, Iowa to Lincoln, Nebraska was like 6 hours, I think I remembered seeing. So, like, he could have gotten there before midnight. I think he was just trying
Which
to
he does.
stall. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's why I think he's probably just trying to stall
Mhm.
because he's like, "Hey, maybe a demon doesn't know
Yeah, like how long it
how
takes.
long a car travel is."
So then John tells his sons that he's going to buy an old gun at an antique store and give it to her because she doesn't know what it looks like. 'Cause nobody's ever seen it really except those vampires and them. And he says he just needs to buy a couple hours of her not noticing. So then
Mhm,
Sam catches on and is like, "Oh, you intend for us to stay here?"
mhm,
And John is like, "Yeah, you need to end this, like, end what I started." And he's
mhm.
like, "I want Sam to continue school." He's like, "I want Dean to have a stable home." And then he says, "I want Mary alive," which was, like, heartbreaking.
Yeah.
'Cause it's like, I know that's all he wants.
Mhm.
And then he says he just wants all of this to be over.
Yeah. Understandable on all of that,
Mhm.
for sure.
It doesn't excuse how he treated his kids after his wife died, but I can see, you know,
Yeah.
how that would ruin things. So Dean bought a gun that looks very similar to the Colt. Dean says this is a trap, which is why Meg wants him alone.
Correct.
And he's like, "Promise me if things move south, you get the hell out." And then John says, like, "Same for you." And there are only 4 bullets left for the magical Colt, and there aren't any more. So every shot counts. Then John says they need to start what he finished, and Dean is truly not
Start what
happy.
he finished. They finished what he
Oh,
started.
yeah.
They need to start what he finished.
They're going
Need to
back
do
in
it again.
they're going back in time. Yeah, they need to finish what he started. And then, you can just see that Dean is not happy at all, but he takes the Colt
Well, yeah,
anyway.
they just now finally got back together, and then the next episode, they immediately split apart again. Even
Yeah,
though this split up makes more sense, but it's still like one of those things where it's just like, "You just got together."
yeah, exactly. Next, we see John at the place where Meg wanted to meet,
Mhm.
and he's looking for her, or at least to me, it looked like he was looking for her.
Yeah.
And then we go back to the brothers, and they're in their car outside the house trying to figure out what to do. Sam says they could tell them there's a gas leak, and Dean was like, "Yeah, that never works." And Sam says they could tell them the truth. And then they were both like, nah, like at the same time.
It's like the one moment of comic relief in the entire episode.
Yes.
The rest of the episode's so serious that
Yes.
this is like the only quip in the entire one.
Agreed. Dean says the only move is waiting for the demon to show up and getting it before it gets this family. So
Yep.
now we're back to John. He's on the roof about to climb up a ladder to the water supply of the building, but he sees Meg walking down like on the ground. So he hides so she doesn't see him.
Mhm.
Then he says he climbs up, boop, 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 opens up the water tank, which it shouldn't be that easy to open, but it was. And then he says a prayer in Latin holding his rosary. And then he drops it into the water, which I suppose in theory means the whole water supply is blessed.
Yeah, that's exactly how that would work if, John is, like, a pastor or, like, has or, like, in theory, like, if you say that like, in this world too, like, Latin and also in modern folklore too, Latin seems to be have, like, this, like, mystical aura to it like that,
Hmm.
where, like, like, a lot of, like, the Christian things are in Latin. So,
Yeah.
especially, like, the Roman Catholic Church and all that fun stuff, so it's like, it makes sense, especially if he has some kind of, like which wouldn't also surprise me at all if you're a hunter, you would totally get ordained,
Oh, yeah.
you
That would
know?
make a lot of sense,
So,
actually.
him doing that praying over the water is how you make holy water, is you pray over the water like that, so
Mm-hmm. Yep. And now we're back to our brothers, and they're having their melodrama moment of the episode here. Sam says he wants to thank Dean for all that he's done for him, just in case something happens. And Dean is just like, no,
mhm,
stop, hard pass. Don't even talk about it.
yeah.
Nothing is going to happen to anyone. So Sam needs to save his speech for another time. Then we go back to John. He shows up to face Meg, but she didn't come alone. She brought backup in case John kills her.
Mhm.
John hands her the gun and she says, like, is this really the Colt? And he nods and she hands it to the demon she brought with her. And the demon kind of like looks at it for a moment and then he shoots her.
I will say this was a good jump scare, like, a good, like, twist thing that I didn't see
Hmm.
coming till it happened. I forgot that it was a thing, and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That's a really smart thing, and also a thing a demon would do." They don't really give a fuck about each other, so they're
Yeah.
like, "Good way to test it." It blows her, she does, like, the whole thing the, vampire did last episode. Then
Yeah.
cool, it worked, it's the cult. If not, then not gonna hurt her.
Exactly.
So
Yeah. And obviously nothing happened because it was fake.
mhm,
He says it's a fake and then he throws it.
mhm.
So the couple hours John needed was like 2 seconds.
Yep. That didn't go according to plan. Didn't think
Yep.
you'd be able to test it that quickly.
Nope. But obviously, Meg is not very happy.
Oh, yeah, she's, like, pissed because she just got shot. I'm sure it's, like even though she's a demon and possessing a body, I'm sure it doesn't feel good to
Right?
be
And
shot.
and then she's like, "You shot me." Like, she's, like, mad at the other demon she brought.
Well, yeah, because if it was the cult, she'd be gone.
Yes, exactly.
Like, yeah, I'd be pissed too, like, "What the fuck was that?"
So John is trying to now, run away from them, but, they're demons, so they run faster. They're catching
Yeah,
up. And then he's in, like, a sewer, and he turns on the water, and that second demon starts walking through it, and he starts, like, burning, so he backs up, and that obviously keeps them in place so John can run away.
holy water, OP.
Mhm.
Which in, like, folklore, like we talked about before, holy water is useful for that. It's a good repellent.
So now back to the brothers. They tried calling John, and he didn't answer. Now they're noticing the radio making weird static growling noises, which is crazy because the radio wasn't even on. It just randomly started
It was
making
so
noise.
powerful, it turned the light or turned it on.
Yes. On their radio that's, like, not digital at all. It's all
Mhm.
analog, but Demon turned it on. The lights are flickering in the house. The wind is blowing very, like, erratically or, like, not at all, outside. Then we flash back to John, and he gets to his truck, and the tires are flat, so he has to keep running. Now back to Sam and Dean. They break into this house via a credit card. And the man who owns the home, Monica's husband, comes at him with a baseball bat,
Yeah.
which is understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
He's just yelling, "Get the hell out of my house!" Which, yeah, makes sense.
Sam doesn't care. Well, I mean, Dean kind of knocks him out. And then,
Well, he just doesn't knock him out, but he like restrains him, like pins him to the wall, and just like starts like being like, "You need to calm the fuck down.
oh,
We're
that's
here to
true.
help."
Yeah. And Sam runs up in the room as the demon is lifting Monica up on the ceiling. Like she's like kind of half on the top of the wall, half on the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
And Sam looks at the demon and his eyes flicker yellow, not black.
Dun dun dun.
And then Sam stands there and shoots. And before the bullet could get to the demon with the yellow eyes disappears in like a puff of smoke.
Mm-hmm.
Sam grabs Monica. Dean grabs the baby out of the crib. And then as soon as he lifts up the baby, the crib catches on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And then they run out of the house. Then back to John. John stops running to call his kids back. But while he stopped, the demon with Meg throws him against the wall. Now back to Monica's house, it explodes. Somehow her husband is outside and not knocked out. Like we saw Dean, maybe Dean carried him out there. I but I forgot that Dean just restrained him. He didn't like knock him out.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, as they're all running outside, he's like, "Leave my family alone." And I'm like, the second the person who broke into your house lets go of you, how are you not trying to help your family already?
No kidding.
Like, why are you just outside?
I would have been kicking his ass. I would have taken that baseball bat and still smacked him across the fucking head. I don't know what the fuck's happening.
Yes.
And my wife and my kid are upstairs, and this guy pinned me to the wall, and then the other one ran upstairs. I would be freaking out.
Yes. And then Dean lets go of him and then runs up the stairs, and the guy just goes outside.
Yeah, just crazy.
And to my knowledge, it's not like he called the cops saying two people broke into my house.
Uh-huh.
Like, that would be a little more understandable. But no, he's just like, leave my family alone. That's it. And then Monica's like, no, stop. They're here to help.
Uh-huh.
It's like, I don't know. This is weird.
Yeah.
But now they don't have a home. Sad. Sam looks up in the window and the demon is in the house again. And Sam is trying to run in and Dean won't let him because obviously we can't run into burning buildings.
Yeah.
We will,
It's a suicide mission, if
yeah,
anything.
we'll die from asphyxiation.
Or burning.
Yes. Now, later, we see Dean is saying something is wrong because John still isn't answering. And Sam is mad again, saying if Dean would have just let him run in, he could have stopped everything. Obviously, Dean is like, well, you're not sacrificing yourself for this. And Sam says it killed Jess and mom. And Dean comes back with, well, you said once, no matter what we do, they are gone and there's nothing we can do to change that. And nobody likes their words thrown back at them. So Sam slams Dean into the wall, saying, Dean can't say that. Like, he's like, you can't say that.
It's like, not from you. It's
Yeah.
like, because he's like, you understand what I'm going through right now. Like, you
Yeah.
understand the pain. Like, you of all people can't say that to me.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
also, Dean's also the hothead that will go sacrifice himself all the time for things.
Yes. Dean says his brother and his dad are all he has, and he feels like he's barely holding it together already. So without
Uh-huh.
them, he has nothing,
Uh-huh.
which makes Sam snap out of it. And he's like, oh, yeah, okay, dad, call him again.
Yeah.
So Dean calls, Meg answers the phone, and she's saying they screwed up big time and they'll never see their father again.
Uh-huh.
And then the episode ends there with a to be continued.
Dun, dun, dun.
So on to our crime counter. We have the B&E into Monica's house where they did that with the credit card. So that's 1 year.
Uh-huh.
And as we've gone over before, impersonating a police officer is about 6 months.
Uh-huh.
And I just had to look up impersonating a doctor because we haven't done that yet, but John did it. And very surprisingly, This has a very wide range from 1 year to 15 years.
Whew. I guess it depends on what you're using it for. But crap,
Yeah,
that's a lot.
but remember when we went over the CDC one, that's 5 years, and then impersonating a police officer is 6 months.
That's crazy. I feel like the police officer, like, the other ones, you definitely have a lot of authority to, and you get into some weird restricted places that can harm a lot of people, but I feel like a cop also can do that, and you can get away with a lot of shit
Mhm.
by saying you're a cop.
Yeah. I guess cops can't, like, perform surgery on people.
Yeah, but also as, like, an impersonator, why would you want to do that?
Yeah, I don't know. But
Alright.
yeah, that's what I found. So let's get into our episode review. We all most of our rankings were exactly the same.
Mhm.
So for story and pacing, we both gave it a 3. Like, yeah, it was an episode. It had a
Yeah.
beginning, middle, end.
Yeah, it was fine. I enjoyed the plot. The
Mm,
plot made me, like, entertained enough where it was, like, the whole fake gun thing was cool and, like, the holy water thing was cool. But, like, overall, it was, like, fine. It was average.
yeah,
It went
exactly.
along well enough.
Monster lore, we both gave it a 1 because there is
There
not
wasn't any.
yeah, there's no monster lore.
And to the extent there was, it wasn't stuff that they had to explain or anything like that. It was just all stuff that was referenced previously. So it's like it's a good end of season episode, but there's nothing new, so I got kind of bored in that aspect.
Yeah, same. Character development is a 2, just because of, like, those few, dramatic moments between the boys, and that's about it.
Yeah, and like the stuff with showing John apologizing and stuff. Like that is a huge
Yeah.
step. He has never said sorry until this episode.
He actually
So
didn't say sorry, he said, "You're
he did.
right." Oh,
He said, "I'm sorry." He said, "You're right, I'm sorry." And then
oh,
they kept going. Like, it was a very
okay.
quick thing, but I remember him saying, "I'm sorry," because I was like, "Yeah, that's, like, the first time he said that."
Mhm. That makes sense. Okay. Visuals and direction, we both gave it a 4. Yeah, Bob
Yeah.
Singer is a great director. It
Yeah,
just
I
everything looked great.
enjoyed, the atmospheres and stuff. They felt cool. Like, I really liked, like, the dark alleyway area that they met Meg and stuff. I thought that was cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
it was shot really well.
And I found out also that the shots of Monica on the ceiling, she was actually on the ceiling. Like, every other
That's
time
cool.
we've seen an actress do this, they haven't been on the ceiling, they've been on the floor.
Mhm.
So they actually, like, hoisted her up
That's
there.
cool. Love that.
Yeah, that's cool, like, practical effect thing.
Yeah.
Emotional impact, we both gave it a 1.
It it didn't do anything for me, it was just fine. Like, it
No.
wasn't an emotional episode. The pieces that were emotional, they've been hashed out before, so it's like,
Mhm.
I didn't feel anything from it.
Yes, exactly. Rewatchability, this is where we kinda changed because I gave it a 2 and you gave it a 1.
Yeah, I could see it being a 2, but it's just one of those things where, like, I have no interest in watching it again. Maybe the only difference, if I watch this back to back with the next week episode, maybe, like,
Yeah.
together, it could work fine because it's, like, the end of the season, but, like, as a standalone, it's just, like, nothing new happened. Like, literally nothing other than Meg asserting herself as more of a villain than she was
Mhm.
before, but, like, we already knew she was,
Yeah.
like, it's nothing crazy, so I was just, like, nothing exciting enough where I'm like, "I need to watch this again." Once I watched it, I was like, "Yep, I got the gist of it."
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I just gave it a 2 because I can see myself rewatching it. A lot of people lump the last 3 episodes of this season together since they are,
Yeah,
like, in sequence with each other.
yeah, I get that's what I
Um,
mean, like, as, like, a back to back to back, sure, I will probably do that. That's why I was like, I
right.
can see it too, but as a standalone episode, it's kind of whatever because it's like, "Here's a huge recap. Here's a to be continued. Here's some stuff in the middle."
Yeah,
We got
exactly.
we got a singular step closer.
We did.
We saw the demon's yellow eyes, and that's it. Like, we've progressed a step.
Yes, exactly. With Salt and Sass, we both gave it a 1.
There was one
Yeah,
line. There was a singular line of humor in this whole episode.
yeah. Not much worth remembering with, like,
Yeah.
banter and stuff, So, yeah, that brings my average score to 2 out of 5.
Technically, mine's 1.71, but I can definitely see the 2 when I'm being comparative to, like, the one episode at the beginning, the ocean the lake episode, because that
Mhm.
episode I'd never want to watch again. This one I would watch again. So, but yeah, 1.71, meaning our combined score is 1.86 out of 5. Let us know in the comments what you think, if you think we were a little too harsh, if you think we were right on the money. What do you feel? Let us know in the comments. Thank you for joining us this week, as that brings us to the end of season 1, episode 29, like 21, of Salvation. Thank you for joining us as we finally get a glimpse of the big bad we've been talking about this entire series so far. Next week is the season 1 finale. So,
Yay.
whenever you're ready, we'll see you in the archive. Goodbye.
Bye.